Okay, guys, what's up? My name is Nick Matei. This is my business group, my business optimization group. So, in this group, we're going to be speaking about all the ways that you could optimize growing your business, spending your time, energy, and attention when it comes to making money. Yeah, my name is Nick. I've been in the digital marketing world for about 8 years. I've owned multiple digital marketing agencies where I helped different businesses grow online. Uh, Basically, about 8 months ago, I switched more into like the software as a service model. And not only that, but I also became like an offer owner. So we're going to get into all of that, like the difference between a service-based business and an offer owner throughout this presentation. But that's just a little bit of background about me. Like I said, my group is called the Business Growth Optimization Masterclass. And we're going to jump right into everything that we're going to be teaching over the course of this course. So we're going to share my screen real quick. Like I said, this is the Business Growth Optimization Masterclass. Um, and what is optimization? So optimization is all about leverage. And what am I talking about still? I'm talking about putting time, energy, attention, and money into your work, into growing your business. And you really want to be able to get a higher return than you put in. And I'm talking about an exponential return. So not just putting in a little bit and then getting a little bit more out. I'm talking about putting in, a little bit, or not even necessarily a little bit, but putting in a certain amount and then getting exponential returns back. So how we do that is by flipping the model upside down. So most people, when they're trying to grow their business, they're doing a one-to-one model. So typically, let's say like you're doing phone sales, or you're uh, doing stuff on social media, and you are direct messaging people. Say that you're direct messaging people on LinkedIn or on Facebook or on Instagram, whatever the platform may be. The one-to-one model is the least amount of leverage that you could possibly do when it comes to growing your business. It's the slow and steady model, and it's not bad. Like, you should have this piece of your business, but you shouldn't get stuck in this piece of your business. And we'll get into that in a little bit in the future in this lesson. So when we're doing one-to-one, typically we're talking about doing it on social media, and then we're talking about doing outreach. So it's you reaching out to people instead of people reaching out to you. And like I said, this is the least leveraged, and a lot of people, they try to just do it straight up cold. So this is reaching out to people who don't know who you are, and it's the least leveraged because they don't know, like, or trust you. So you have to take them from not knowing you at all to starting to know you, and then end up liking you, and then trusting you enough to part with your money. So it's a long process, and you're doing it one to one. So it takes a lot of time to be able to get a return on your investment. And then there's warm markets. So this is people who know you, and you don't really want to bother the people who it's not so much that you are bothering them, because they probably like to help you out, but it still is a slower process. It's a little bit better than if you are just going to cold traffic, because they know a bunch of people, and because they know you, it makes it so that they could transfer that knowing and that liking and that trusting to people who they know who might need your products or services. So then there's inbound, and this is another strategy that a lot of people who are trying to grow on social media are using, but they're still doing it in an unleveraged way, in an unoptimized way. And we'll get to that in a little bit. But inbound is typically broken down into two categories as well. It's either posting free content, or it's posting paid content. So with free content, you are basically posting stuff on your social media. And the way that most people do it is they just speak in front of the camera about the thing that they have going on. And again, the problem is when you're first starting out, no one knows you or likes you or trusts you. So it is basically it's better leveraged and it's better optimized than just cold direct messaging people, because it's one to many instead of one to one. But it kind of is like in the beginning one to one, because your content's not getting pushed out to the algorithm, because the algorithm doesn't know who is interested in your content yet, because it hasn't had enough volume of people to look at your content to be like, oh, okay, this is the type of person who is interested in your content, and for it to push it out to more people. So what we're going to suggest with, the whole business optimization method is to start to do one to many. And how we do that is by using other people's audiences. So other people, they already have audiences built. And you could actually provide a lot of value to people to be able to go ahead and get them to know, like, and trust you, so that then they could help transfer that know, like, and trust to their audience, especially if you have something that's very valuable. It's a lot easier to be able to do this with people who have small audiences already built. So you basically could also use affiliates. So you could turn these people into affiliates by giving them a piece of the commission every time that you make a sale when someone from their audience goes and buys your thing. It's the best way to be able to start using other people's time, energy, and attention when it comes to making money for you and building your business. So we really want to start to do this affiliate marketing with influencers. You want to be able to, like I said, get people who have audiences already built, who already have rapport with these people, who are able to influence them to want to do business with you. And there's a couple different types of influencers. There's micro, and then there's macro. So micro influencers are people who have audiences of like 1,000 to like 10,000 people. So you could build a bunch of relationships with micro influencers and start to tap into their audience. If you build, 10 relationships with micro influencers who have 1,000 people each in their audience, then that's an audience of 10,000 people. If they have 10,000 people in their audience, then that's an audience of 100,000 people. So you want to work your way up from micro and then to macro. So macro people are like people who have audiences of 10,000 plus. So you want to actually create a list of 100 people. When you're starting out with the micro people, you want to find 100 people who you would be interested in partnering with, who you want to make them affiliates for your product or your service, and who have an audience between 1,000 and 10,000 people. So if you find 100 people to be able to do this and you start to build relationships with them, then you really have like a audience of 100,000 to 1,000,000 people. So on top of that, that's just basically for promoting your business. But then within your business, you want to start to automate the processes that are happening using technology. So there's a couple different ways that you could do that. First off, you could use AI, something like Google Bard, ChatGPT, to be able to start automating your thinking. So you could have conversations with it about like, hey, who would be the best 100 people who have micro audiences that would be complementary to my product and service. What I mean by complementary is people who don't necessarily do the thing that you do, but they have an audience of people who would be interested in what you have to offer. So you could start to automate your thinking by, asking questions like that to AI, so that you don't have to do the heavy lifting and figure out who your something like your dream 100 is. You could use it for a whole bunch of other ways to optimize your thinking, but that's just one of them because, we were just talking about that. So you could also use it to help you with your copywriting. So another way to automate your business is by getting good at copywriting. Copywriting is the art of using the written word to persuade or to sell people. So if you're able to write words that persuade people to buy, then you don't have to spend as much time doing one-on-one. You could start spending time doing one-to-many. For example, people who got into this group on Meetup, they read the copy that I put in the description that made them want to go and take action and get into the group. So you could do this on your social media pages. You could do this in your videos that you create. That's all copywriting. The better that you get at copywriting, the better that you get at being able to persuade people without having to do it individually. So then another way to automate is through sales funnels. You could put copy on what's called a sales funnel so that you could have a place on the internet, on your website, on your social media pages, the link in your bios, so that people could read your copy and then they could go through a sequence to be able to hear your pitch, to be able to actually buy your product, and then to be able to get fulfilled on that product without you having to be involved in the process at all. You could do all of that work once and then make it so that you don't ever have to actually be involved in the process for as many people as you're bringing into the system. So then another way to do it is through video sales letters. So this is actually just, you creating a video using copywriting that's set up in a way to pitch your idea and then make a sale without you being involved. So, with the copywriting, that's the written word. The sales funnel, that's the written word on the funnel, and then the video sales letter could go along with it on the funnel as well. In future lessons, we're going to show you exactly how this is all done with examples of sales funnels that I've done. But then how you're able to get, basically the people who didn't decide to buy into a system that is also automated, that does more selling for you, is through capture forms. So you could get people's name, email, phone number, whatever information you need for your business. You could do that automated on the sales funnel as well through capture forms. And then when you get the information through the forms, it then goes into something called a customer relationship management tool. So this is where you're able to get all of the customers' information, and then you could create different ways to interact with them that is also automated, so that you don't have to be as involved in the sales process, because you could continue to build relationships with them without having to do it manually. And how that's done is through like email and text marketing. So you could create emails and text messages that could be sent out to the people in your CRM, your customer relationship management tool, that makes it so that you build relationships with them over time, so that they could then decide to make a buying decision. And like I said, you're not involved in that process. You did create the emails and the text messages using copywriting, once, but then you're able to send that to as many people as you put into the funnel who get into your CRM. And that's actually one of my offers that I have. It's called the free software solution. We basically give you all of those tools for absolutely free. You're able to put them together yourself. And then we have other ways to help you streamline that process so that you don't have to spend the time, energy, and attention doing that. But we'll get into that in future lessons as well, when it comes down to breaking down how to do all of those things. So that brings me to the different types of content. So, we were talking about social media marketing. We were talking about, posting free content and stuff like that. But what types of content do you actually post? What types of content actually gets people's attention? And then how you're able to influence people to go into your link and then go into your sales funnel and then see all of that stuff that we just talked about. So first off, there's solo content. This is basically just you speaking in front of the camera. This is you talking about your message, about your purpose, about your why, about, the things that you're doing. And this is almost like the least leveraged way to post content, because you have to actually spend time, in front of the camera. You have to then spend time editing it. You have to spend time, thinking about what to say. It's a lot of manual work for not a lot of return, especially in the beginning of growing your social media. But then there's other types of content. So a more optimized way to to create content is to create content with your clients or your customers. Give them, the customer experience. You're working with your clients anyway. So why not just record the experience that they're having and how you're serving them, so that you could then showcase that through your content, and it will give people who are looking at your social media content much more reason to want to do business with you, because then they'll know what the experience is like, not just from what you're saying, but what your customer is saying as well. So then there's a different way to make content. A lot of people who are watching this, you probably listen to or watch podcasts quite often. So this is way more optimized for a couple different reasons. On your own side, like with your social media, it's more optimized because it's more engaging, especially if you're doing interviews with other experts. People want to know the highest level of information about what you're talking about if they're interested in what you're talking about. So if you're having a conversation with another expert who is also very versed and has a lot of knowledge about what you're speaking about, then this will make it so that it is way more engaging content. And then the algorithm's going to push this out to way more people, because they know the algorithm knows that this is the type of content that most people like to watch when it comes to learning information about a subject. But then there's another type of content. It's called user generated content. And the difference between this and then a client experience is you're not involved at all. So this is basically where your customer is talking about the experience that they have with your content without you being in the conversation. So, there's a couple of different ways to get this done. If your offer is good enough, people might just make this content just because they really want to share the value with people, because they love actually using your products or services. But you could also influence people by, again, having them become an affiliate. These people might also have social media followings where, they could create content about the experience that they're having. And then because they're an affiliate, they have an incentive to go ahead and become, a partner for you and to spread the message about what you're doing, because they'll get a financial incentive as well. So then there's the content waterfall. And this is great because this is the most optimized way to create content. Like I was saying, with interviews or even with client experience type of content, you're able to create long form content with that. Long form content is just exactly what it sounds like. It's just a longer form of content where, there's a lot more involved. That's great for stuff like YouTube, where that's exactly where people are on there to see that type of content. But what's great about it is you could then take that interview or that long form content, and then you could break it down into smaller pieces of content for your social media. And that's exactly what I'm doing, starting off my brand right now. In the beginning of 2024, in the beginning of January of 2024, I started a podcast called the Digital Enlightenment Podcast. And basically, I'm just highlighting people between the ages of late teens and early 30s who are already gaining success in their careers. And the purpose of it is to showcase a whole bunch of different ways that you could start out in the business world or the entrepreneurial world online, so that people who are just getting into the game are able to then go and see all of the different options that they have to go and start making money online. Not only that, but it also will show them as they're scaling their business, all of the different pieces that they need involved in doing that as well. So I have my, long form content. Each one of these videos are on my YouTube channel. and they're all a half an hour each. So that's the long form piece. But then what I'm able to do is to create a whole bunch of other pieces of content for my social media. So, I break the long form content and then I break it down into short form content. So each one of these pieces, each one of these blocks, that's a reel on my Instagram. And that makes it so that I'm able to just create content in an interview once, and then I don't have to create a whole bunch of content during the week other than just breaking down that content. That's another thing. You should always do your content creation just in one day. Just make a dedicated day to creating content so that you're not just doing content creation, splitting your attention throughout the day so that you could spend the rest of your time on reaching out to your dream 100 so that you could, build relationships and start leveraging other people's audiences. So this brings me to the tarmac method. So a lot of people right now might not have a big following. They might not, be doing any of this stuff. And they're probably wondering, how do I get started? So the way to get started is really like in business networking groups. If you could get started in business networking groups, it's like a hybrid approach. It's basically where you're able to reach out to people and other people are reaching out to you at the same time so that, you're able to tell a bunch of people about your product or service, and then you're able to become an affiliate for other people so that you could create multiple streams of income. And you're building relationships. So you're getting to start to talk to people. It's in a comfortable environment where it's not, on camera yet, but you get comfortable with these people so much that you're just able to build rapport with them and have natural conversations. And it makes it so that you are able to then take those conversations and bring them to light by doing interviews with them. So you're going to want to start podcasting. And you could start podcasting exactly like how I just said. When you do these podcasts, you could take the videos that you're creating and then you could send them to the people that you're doing this with, and you're going to be able to make it so that you start appearing on other people's networks. So at first, these are all going to be micro influencers. They're going to be like micro influencers because a lot of these people, they have less than 1,000 followers, but it's okay. It's just, you got to start somewhere. You really want to start to get guests this way. And then you also want to start to become a guest this way, but you don't want to just stay there. You want to start to take these conversations outside of the network group and then go into your dream 100 so that you'll already have a whole bunch of content. You'll already be seen as an authority because you're already networking with people. And then it will, aside from you already having a really good offer, it will be another thing that incentivizes people from your dream 100 to start to network with you and want to share you with their audience. So just, you have to transfer this to your dream 100. And, a lot of people may have seen this before. This is called the cash flow quadrant, but for people who don't, who've never have seen this, this is the 4 different ways that you're able to make money in society. You could be an employee, self-employed, you could be a big business owner, or an investor. And the problem is that most people think that they're a business owner when they're actually self-employed. The difference between a self-employed individual and a business owner is the self-employed person can't take their time away from doing the work to grow their business, but the business owner can. And then the problem is that most people think that the only way to be able to become a big business owner is to hire people to be able to do that. But that's not the case. We want to get there to there as fast as possible. And the fastest way to be able to do that is by becoming an offer owner. And we're going to get into that soon. So the whole thing is in building businesses and optimizing your business growth is we have a relationship between the time, energy, and attention that we put into making money. And, what I was just saying is that most people, they realize that, they could then trade their money to get their time, energy, and attention back, but they typically miss the fact that they could become an offer owner, and they just think like, I'm going to hire people to be able to do that. So this whole thing is all about leveraging and optimization, right? So the two ways to be able to do that are through technology and people, and technology is the piece that most people miss. So we have to make a switch. You have to make a switch from being a service-based business to becoming an offer owner. And we're going to get into that. So you want to create your own offers alongside your services. And a good way to do that is to basically create courses or to get software that you could sell alongside your service so that people are able to pay you a monthly subscription. It's a way to leverage the time, energy, and attention that you put into making money growing your business. So there's a couple different ways to be able to do this. First off, there's the low ticket model, and you could do something like create a video course. You could create a video course that is explaining the different ways that you're able to help people, or how other people could help themselves doing the thing that you do for people. And you can make a lot of money with low ticket offers. I was just talking to someone before this call, and I pointed out to them that, if I sell a product for $17 to 50 people, that is literally $850 right there. So a lot of people, they overlook the leverage that having a low ticket offer could, make in their business, because your thing really well, your product, your service, but there's a ton of people out there who don't, and that they would love to know what to be able to implement that into their lives. And they would be really willing to trade a little bit of money to be able to get a lot of value back from that. Another way to be able to do this is through reoccurring offers. So this could be like a group membership. This could be a software. Again, you could have a recurring offer with that. And there's good things and bad things about this. I recently learned that, the average reoccurring subscription actually only lasts for about 3 months, but it's really good to be able to have a reoccurring offer, because if you have a reoccurring offer, say that you have a year-long reoccurring offer, and say it's $50 a month, right? So that comes out to $567 a year. So the person, when they're getting involved with your reoccurring offer, they're planning on staying for the whole year. But the thing is that a lot of people, they look at their credit card statement after a couple months, and they're like, I got to cut something. So they go and then they cut the subscriptions that they have. So that's why it only lasts about 3 months. But the great thing about having a reoccurring offer is you could get people, while they're excited about doing the reoccurring thing, to have two options. So they could pay month to month, say $50 a month again, or they could pay a one-time payment up front to be able to save half the money that they would spend over the year, which in that case, it would come out to 200, so $312 or something like that. So what that does is, because they're planning on making the investment of spending $50 a month for a year, not realizing that in 3 months they're going to decide to cancel, which means that they would only spend $150 with you. This makes it so that you'll collect $315 up front, because they're in an excited mode where, they made that commitment, and you actually make more than what you would have made getting them into the reoccurring. The point is that, you want to create reoccurring that's so good that they don't ever want to leave. And then that's the other benefit to reoccurring. If you create something that is so good that they don't ever want to stop paying you, and software is a really good way of doing that. But that's the reoccurring model. So then there's high ticket. So high ticket, a lot of people love the idea of high ticket, because this is where a lot of profits made. But the thing is that it's very hard to sell, and it's very hard to not be involved in the process. And, I think that high ticket just explains itself or speaks for itself. But the thing is that you could make a model where you use all three of these things. In the front end, you have the low ticket, so you bring people's awareness up, and we'll get into the different the different levels of market awareness in a little bit. But you bring someone from not knowing how how to solve a problem to learning how to solve that problem. Then you create a reoccurring thing to help them solve that problem over time. And then you have a high ticket thing for the people who just rather have you do it for them. So that's how those three things work in tangent. And yeah, so you really want to figure out how to implement all of those in your business to be able to optimize your growth. So then we go to the levels of market awareness, and this ties back into what we were just saying. So the point of the low ticket product and the reoccurring product is to bring people up in awareness in the market. So you get them at the lowest level of awareness, and then you bring them to the highest level of awareness throughout the process. So people start out completely ignorant, and not everybody, basically people who come in, they're going to be at all different types of levels, but you'll be able to figure out at what level they're at, and then you'll be able to have services and products that serve each one of these people. And hopefully it's in a way that makes it so that you're not involved in the process. But being completely ignorant means that you don't even know what the problem is yet. And there's people in the marketplace who have a problem that they're not even aware of yet, and you could actually make people aware of that through your messaging and through your products. But then the next level of awareness is they're problem aware. So they know that, I have this problem, but they don't know how to solve it. And they don't know like where to even start to look for how to solve it. The next level of awareness is solution aware. So these people, they know about the problem and they know about the solution, but they haven't actually started to go and try to figure out, all right, how am I going to solve this? Or they haven't started implementing the solution, or they haven't started looking for people to help them solve their problem. Then there's people who are product and service aware. So they know the problem, they know the solution, and then they know at least one product or service or a couple products and services that solve that problem. And then there's the experts. These are the people who are the highest level of awareness in a marketplace. So these people, you could create products and services for them, but they're most likely you're an expert, and most likely your competitors are experts. So those are the 5 levels of market awareness. You want to create products and services, low ticket, reoccurring, and high ticket, to bring people, at least in terms of awareness, from ignorant to expert. And you want to test this out organically. So in the beginning of this whole presentation, we were talking about, free content and then paid content. Something that I didn't talk about yet is that, paid content, meaning pay-per-click advertising, is the most leveraged, because you literally are, especially if you have an offer where you're not part of the process, you don't have to do any manual work. You just literally create an ad, and then that thing's running, and that thing is putting it in front, your ad directly in front of people who are most interested in it. So you don't just get there to the pay-per-click advertising by just coming out and then creating an offer real quick. You have to test this thing organically to see if it's even worthy of running paid ads, because you don't want to waste your money. Yeah, you'll save a bunch of time, energy, and attention, but not really if you don't actually test to see if your thing is worth running ads to, because then you'll burn through your money, and then you'll have to start back at zero. You'll have to trade your time for money again. So there's other ways to do that. So like I said, you could do all of the things that I already said, but you could also start a group. So this is a way that you're able to go ahead and start scaling without having to run paid ads, where you're able to go ahead and serve one to many instead of having to go individually to each person and do the cold outreach, do the warm outreach, get people coming through and reaching out to you through free content. you could get people into a group where you're able to serve a bunch of people, and then you're able to then, provide the value one to many instead of one to one. And here's an example. So if you're watching this means that, you're either in my course already, or you get some type of special privilege, because not everybody's going to see this piece. Basically, what I'm about to reveal to you is exactly what I'm doing right now. So this is how I'm optimizing my business's growth. I just created this group where it's on a platform called Meetup. Meetup is a group platform where there's, just tons of people who are on there who are looking for different groups to join. And I'm providing this value absolutely free to the people who are on there. But I've made an incentive. So, I'm running this group on Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. every week. Not everybody's going to be able to go ahead and join that group at that time every week. So I created another group where it's private, where you only get into it if you know me or if you met me through Meetup. And in this group, I'm going to be having all of the recordings of the lessons that I'm teaching in this series. And there I'm going to put the recording. So everybody who finds out about this within the first month through Meetup, or who has a personal relationship with me, will then go and get access to that private group for absolutely free. But after this first month, then I'm going to start charging $17, a one-time payment, to be able to get access to that. So that's my low ticket product to, organic marketing, because, people really value the information that's in this. They might not have the time to go and spend on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. every week to find this information. So they're willing to spend $17 one time to be able to get access to a group where all of these videos are recorded, and then they're able to go and watch it on their own time. Not only that, but they're also going to be able to get access to me there. They're going to get to ask me questions. I'm going to get to actually sit down with them and then show them how to implement this into their business specifically. Not only that, but then it's going to become a business networking group. It's going to be a place where people could build relationships and then get referral and affiliate partners to help leverage other people's time, energy, and attention for growing their business. Not only that, but then after I have all those videos up, I'm going to take all those videos, and I'm going to make it just a course without the group, and I'm going to run paid advertising to it. So I could sell that course for, say, like $50. And then, people will really love to be able to get that course that they could just watch on their own time and then learn everything they need to be able to grow their business in an optimized way. And what will happen then is then I could create a subscription model where, say, for like $17 a month, then they'll be able to get access to that second group where there's already a whole bunch of people in there that are, other entrepreneurs. They will get access to me directly now, and they'll be able to get affiliate partners. Not only that, but for this video, like I said, not everybody's going to see this piece. I'm going to cut this last part out, and I'm going to put it on my social media. So then that makes it so that I have a long form piece of content, and that people will, be able to become educated just on my YouTube channel for absolutely free. They'll learn about my group that I have. They'll learn about my software company that I have, and then they'll learn about, the business networking opportunity that I also have. So that's basically, my example for you of how to be able to optimize your business growth. And that's pretty much it. So I really appreciate your time. And if you have any questions for me, feel free to reach out. The link will be in the description for that. All right. Have a good night. Thank you.